Welcome to Knowledge and Relationships. Make sure you guys and ladies get your minds right before I come up to this platform. This is your boy M3, and I have Mr. Best in the World, and then we have Lady E.
What's good, family? What's going on, y'all?
Hello.
What's up? What's up, family? All right. So, thank you for tuning in for tonight, people, whoever is watching. And if you guys want to know what the title is there racism amongst each other in the Black community? Before we get started, we gotta play something that's nice. So let's start with some jazz music, Okay. Turn up a little notch. All right. Now, anyways, so the racism amongst each other in the Black community. Now, this title is inspired by Mr. Best in the World. So thank you, Mr. Best, right, for providing this title. Hopefully.
No. That's a correction. That's correction. That wasn't me. This title was it was actually inspired by Lady E and B-Eazy. You know what I mean?
Wait, what?
Yeah, they had you know what I'm talking about? They had a debate, within our private chat on Instagram. Salute to the family chat. And yeah, I mean, this is what inspired it. And, I was like, hey, let's do it. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, that's what's up. Shoot, had I known, I'd be like, man, where's B-Eazy at? Right?
Yeah, where is he? We talked about this.
I don't know. Maybe B-Eazy didn't want to.
I reached out to him. He should be here pretty soon. You should be here pretty soon.
Yeah. Well, rumor has it that, Lady E has great debating skills, but she has hidden potential into it. So not a lot of people know. Okay. Well, Lady E and B-Eazy, shout outs to you guys for, just the inspiration of this topic. So let's go ahead. Let's go half at it, right? Now, all right. Do you guys believe, in racism within our own communities?
Give me 1 second.
Okay, no problem. All right. Well, while we wait for Lady E, Mr. Best, what's your thoughts on this?
All right. Kevin just called her, so she said she's gonna be right back. No, I'm joking. No. I think there is self-hatred within our community, and I think based on that self-hatred, we, we assume certain things, we go through certain things, and we put certain things on each other, and a lot of times it comes because we have a lot of, and I'm gonna get deep with this because I have to. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of pseudo cultures and a lot of pseudo beliefs, right? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I use this analogy yesterday. If you're baking, because M3 likes to bake cookies, right? If you're baking cookies, right, and I'm baking cookies, and we both have to eat gluten-free, which me and you both do, right? Mm-hmm. And you have your recipe, I have my recipe, right? And you like your recipe, and I like my recipe. But if we combined our recipes together, we can make a better cookie than an Oreo, right? We can make a better cookie than the Chips Ahoy. We can make the best vegan organic cookie ever known to man, right? But we're not doing that. You're saying your cookie is better than my cookie. I'm saying my cookie is better than your cookie, and we're going back and forth. You know what I mean? Salute the Lady Cookie, too, wherever she's at. But with that being said, be tuned into the E and Cookie Show coming this Saturday. Shameless plug. Y'all know what it is. But the thing is that, we think us as a people, we think we're better because we speak a different language, or we're from a certain country, or we do certain things. And the bottom line is that all the things that we do is affected, or was basically bestowed upon us, by the colonizer and oppressor. This is not our native tongue. This is not our original religion. All these things are things that we practice because somebody enslaved us, they colonized us. They raped and pillaged us, and they threw us in a foreign land. Some of us were already here. I do believe that. But even though we was already here, they still came and still did what they did. It wasn't like we was already here and it was like, oh, okay, we're going to be nice to them. No, it was still You know what I mean? We gonna make y'all feel the heat. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? And that's what it was, and that's what it is. So we have to understand that. You know what I mean? We can't think we better because we speak English. We can't think we better because we speak Spanish. You can't think we be better because we speak French or Creole or whatever language you should choose to speak. Do not think you're better because you're not. You know what I mean? I don't care if you're Panamanian, Mexican, Brooklynite, whatever you are, whatever you know, part of the diaspora you are, that's a part of the African diaspora, that's a part of the African people. You are not better. You are not. And until we unite and until we understand that a colonizer and oppressor is against us, we're gonna always have this infighting based on a bunch of nonsense. You know what I mean? Or I like to use hot sauce. You like to use tapioca sauce or tapicapo. You know what I mean? It's the same stuff. You know what I mean? They both is red. You know what I'm saying? They both, and they may taste a little bit different, but it's the same thing. It's basically spicy sauce. You know what I'm saying? But these are the things that we fight over. We fight over the most craziest things. You know what I mean? You'll have people that's darker than you M3 talking about, oh, no, I'm not black. Then what are you? Do you not know your history? You know what I mean? Because I know you didn't get that tan from a European. I know that for a fact. I ain't never seen no European that dark ever. You know what I'm saying? And when we start to call out these pseudo cultures, these pseudo beliefs, and these pseudo and languages and everything else, and this is when you know it's real, right? Tell them, yo, okay, you speak Spanish or you speak French or you speak German. Go to those countries and try to be accepted by those people. They're not going to accept you. They're going to spit at you. They're going to ridicule you. And they're probably going to call you the N-word too in their language. So that's how they get down. They don't respect you. They look at you as slaves and as rejects. So a lot of them, I'm not saying all of them, but a lot of them do. They colonized you. You know what I mean? The aforementioned Queen of England, who passed on and transcended. In her crown, she had the nation that she colonized in her crown. You know what I mean? It was celebrated that she colonized these different places that our people live in. This was a thing that was celebrated. But, you know, keep believing what y'all want to believe, man. Keep believing that y'all Jesus is better than the other Jesus. Keep believing that this person is better than that person. Keep believing that our lives better than this one. Keep believing this stuff. Keep believing these false rhetorics. I keep telling you, this is one big map. Put the pieces together. The quicker we put the pieces together, the quicker that we can grow, and we can really be better as a people. You know what I'm saying? But as long as we keep backfighting each other and blaming each other, and man versus man, and woman versus woman, and woman versus man, all this other BS, and culture versus culture, and language versus language, we will never go anywhere. You know what I mean? And Stan know what I'm talking about, because I'm speaking the truth. But I'm done cooking, man. You know what I mean? Y'all can step in the kitchen.
Okay, so you know what? You just helped me remind of a bullet point that I want to kind of address. But I probably will allow Lady E to probably answer this question, since Lady E is back. Lady E, what do you think about Africans versus African Americans? Now, before you answer this, right, I want to give you a little visual real quick, okay? Now, Africans usually have the same color of skin that we have. They have the same lips, same eyes, same features. They only slight difference is that the majority of them has more or less European or colonizing features. Yet Africans, okay, their parents don't want their children, their African children, to date African Americans because of the stigma that the colonizer gave them, okay, that we are lazy people and all we're going to do is ruin their lives. Shouts to Stan, Marcus, salutes to you guys. What do you think about that, Lady E?
It's ignorance. Your nationality, race, ethnicity does not determine or describe your character. I think we all have to understand that African Americans have different My mind just went blank. Give me a second.
No problem.
Well, they have different traditions than Africans, mainly because African American traditions have been derived from some European, well, mostly European influence with some African influences in it, versus African tradition is mainly just, original African influences. I think you have a lot of, and it goes both ways. You have the African Americans think that they're better than the Africans, or they'll actually call them ugly. And you have the Africans who will call the African Americans ugly or stupid or lazy and those types of things. But no one's like actually sitting down and talking to anyone and getting to know anyone or understanding anyone, even to explore the culture of your similar ancestors. But unfortunately, us as Black people, we're open to exploring cultures of Latin culture. We'll explore Asian culture. We'll explore European culture, but it's like there's this stigma with exploring your own culture, wherever it's derived from European culture or the African culture. And I believe that's where our disconnect is coming, because the colonizers had so much influence that we are copying exactly what they did to us to make us inferior, that we're doing it to another nationality, and that same nationality is also doing it to us, and which is part of their agenda to keep us separated and divided.
Okay. So, fair enough. Now, let's say labels. Okay. And let me know if you don't know what I'm talking about, but labels as in when they call us like how do I say this? Okay, an example. We are the only ones that refer to us as Black or African American. Okay. Some other cultures, like let's say if you were born in America, but you were Indian, or you were Chinese or Mexican or something, right? Now, how often have you ever heard anybody say, hey, I'm, Latin American or Latino American, or I'm Asian American? Usually they just say I'm Asian or I'm Indian or Middle Eastern. But we're the only ones that we have to put that emphasis that, hey, I'm not African. I am African American. And so because we place these labels, are these labels, okay, that we're taught to place in, were they really meant to divide us? African.
My opinion, I think yes, because like you said, all the other ethnicities or nationalities, they don't necessarily say I'm Asian American, I am Polynesian American, I am Chinese American, Japanese American, whatever. They don't say that if they're born in America. They just, you are what you are. You don't go up to an Asian person and ask them, are you Asian American, or were you actually born in Asia? We don't do that. But for some unknown reason, once again, we have this separation. Are you African American? Then I'm hearing the Afro-Caribbean, the Afro-Latino, and then you have your Africans. And when you see that happen, then you're seeing more separation that is occurring, because you have the Afro Latinos who are separating themselves from other Latinos as well as other Afro Caribbeans or Africans or African Americans. And we're thinking that we're better than the other because of whatever, whatever, whatever. And like I said, it's all part of the agenda to keep us separated.
You are absolutely right. Just like not to derail from this conversation, but it still talks about like the black community. Because I do believe like because this is the thing, when somebody says this racism, I more think of prejudice as opposed to racism. But I mean, you could kind of be racist to your own people in some regards. And salutes to Melody Lux. Thank you for tuning in.
Hello. Thank you.
Hey, family.
Hello.
Hey, I'm sorry I'm late.
No, you're good. You're good, fam. Yeah.
It's all good, family.
Now Melody Lux, don't mind Lady E giving you the side eye, okay? I'm just letting you know.
Like
so, you know, it just short people and stuff, you know. Anyways, but the thing is, we use different things, right? We come up with different reasons to divide us, which is utterly stupid. Like, let's just say, for instance, okay, like this ongoing gender war, all right, has gotten out of hand. But more like in the black community, now you're having black men versus black women, okay?
Preach.
And, you know, at one point in the early 90s, it was always like, you know, light versus dark. Now we got from light versus dark to now like black men hating on black women hating on black men. And so we're spin off of this narrative. And I think like I said, I don't consider it racism, but I feel like it's more self-hatred. And I feel like because we keep placing these type of labels, it's like, what are we fighting for? Now we're fighting. Now recently, okay, you know, with this whole Michael B. Jordan situation, now it's like, okay, the bullies versus in the past versus, you know, people who are being successful, and you just got all kinds of like just dumb stuff going on. Where it's like you're allowing yourself to be distracted from pretty much the real problem. And the real problem is, you know, why are people, no matter how successful you are, why do we keep getting stuck? It's like we're always stuck in this one little bucket where every crab keeps pulling each other down. The crabs in the bucket mentality. We never really think about the big picture. And salute to Vaughn Eric. Thank you for tuning in. We never think like, man, okay,
Vaughn Eric, what's good?
I've achieved these things, but how can I help at least, right, preach to a group of people, whether it be a small number that can eventually lead up to a bigger number? How can I focus on reach out to a few people that can actually start a revolution, a positive revolution, where blacks come up with a 70 or 100-year plan that as long as we stay focused and continue to be united, we could be our own bosses. We could build our own business. We could invest in our own companies. I think B-Eazy, shouts to him. I think he was the one that was saying it was like people from Japan or from China who created like a 75-year plan to make sure that their people are still up to float, businesses is running well, and their people won't be struggling financially, you know, in their own country. So like for us, what could things that we could do to pretty much stay focused on a bigger goal without being distracted by celebrity junk? Melody, Lex, since you're here, I'll let you speak your mind.
I know what works for me is sometimes I decompose and like I'll just shut down all of my social media and stuff like that, because I feel like a lot of that does negatively influence our thoughts and stuff like that. And for me particularly, I think about like 2016 was when I started doing that. Like I haven't had my Facebook up since around that time. I get on and off of Instagram, but a lot of us are not able to use discernment to focus on what's right and like how we should be using social media as a tool instead of how it's being used negatively. So those are my thoughts on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's cool.
I feel like social media, if we use it right, it's a very good tool that can propel us like to the next level based on what we're seeking and whatnot. But I don't see a lot of people doing that. Like I see the celebrity gossips and all of this crazy stuff. And my thing is like, why are we so intertwined with the negative aspect of everything? So those are my thoughts.
That's a good question. Why are we so focused on the negative instead of the positive? Maybe someone who's intellectual could actually give us that answer. What about you, Mr. Intellectual SoapBox, aka Mr. Best in the World? Oh, Mr. Best? Okay, I didn't know he stepped out, but okay, so
right when you're changing my laundry, I step away. All right, listen. Okay. Now, the reason why we can't do that is for a multitude of reasons, but I would say the first, two Kings and Dreams, two Vouaghn Bryant. I see y'all. I think the main reason why we can't do that, it's a harsh reality that I had to learn, and I'm still learning, is that most people, you know, most people ain't shit, man. I hate to say it. Most people just ain't shit. I hate to say it. I hate to. I really hate to say it. I hate to admit that a lot of people are just losers. They're bottom feeders. They're negative. They're evil. I hate to admit that, but it's just the proof is in the pudding. I hate to admit it. And it's hard to, man. I do feel like there's quality people. And I feel like, you know, sometimes quality people, sometimes we don't say enough. Sometimes we're too busy. Sometimes we wrapped up in our own little world. But yeah, as far as this, you know, YouTube, it's just, the media period, it's just a shit show. It's an evil shit show. And that's why when we have people that are actually really great and that actually are doing something forthcoming, salute to my homie, Dobie Apparel Media. Make sure y'all support Dobie Apparel Media. All right, he's a clothing designer, entrepreneur. You know what I mean? He's Black owned. All right, support that brother, man. Okay, you know what I mean? And shout out to him for just acknowledging us and granting us with his presence and even doing a live talk with us, man. Salute Dobie Apparel Media. All right, you know what I mean? Yes, sir. Media is a wild place. You already know, brother. So with that being said, y'all, love you too, man.
Bro.
You know what I'm saying? That's why things are the way that they are. But the ones who actually want to make a difference, who actually have something to say, you know what I mean, who actually want to, you know, produce things that are positive in a space, that uplift our people, that showcase our people, we don't need to stop. You know what I mean? Because I feel like I'm a part of that community. I'm not going to stop my message. Whoever's with me is going to be with me. Whoever's not, they're not. You know? But I'm no longer going to stop my message and stop being forthcoming because people want to be negative or people don't want to be a part of it. Salute to Alonzo Hall. You know what I mean? That's what we got to start doing. We can't stop, you know, letting our voices be heard. You know what I mean? Because eventually our message is going to take flight and it's going to resonate. It will. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. You know what I mean? We can't like tire of doing the right thing. But that's really why these things happen. That's why they happen, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Because most people are not striving for greatness. They're just striving to be entertained. So yeah.
You know what? Salutes to the Mecca. You know, I call this the Mecca community. By, you know, inspired by like a great man that once says that, look, you guys could do all things. You know, you guys are like the mediators. You bring peace to the channel. And that's why he calls us the Mecca. Which I feel like it's a very intriguing name to, like, you know, to say, because we have so many groups that revolves around in Black YouTube, and unfortunately, most of these sectors, you know, are derived into the beef sectors. Whereas, like, okay, let's start beef because now we want to put on a shit show. We provided entertainment. People are going to watch. And this is a quicker way to get monetized. Meanwhile, people like us and maybe some other people who are actually trying to do positive things, but yet, controversial, realistic, but yet, these channels, like, they're not going to get the recognition as most of these channels will have. And that's why, like, it's important for anybody, okay, to pretty much find a circle that fits within your niche, Kings of Dreams says, miserable people will try to bring people down with them. Oh, yes. I got stories about that, too. Open the gates of success. Yeah, that's right, Dobie. That's right. Let me say this, though, okay? It's interesting because, like, sometimes, okay, when we be having our live streams and, the encouragement is to get folks to come and stay on topic. And there's times like where it's like, okay, conversations or topics could get derailed because someone is coming with hostility, not towards us, but hostility, probably towards another person, probably towards their financial services or their own livelihood. And so because of that, then it's like you're projecting. Hold on, let me see some real quick. A tribe called, hey, my brother, Mr. He said, what's up, my brother?
What's poppin'? Mr. Best, M3, Lady E. What's good, y'all?
Nah, what's good with you? Thank you for tuning
Good
in.
evening.
Yeah. Mr. He said, I'm glad that you chimed in because our subject is basically it's just racism amongst each other in the Black community. What's your thoughts about this?
It's a thing, man. I'm old school, so school days, jigaboos, wannabes, all of that. It's just it's always been a thing. I'm not sure if I'm in line with it. I know there's always going to be differences. There's always going to be personalities that clash, but for us to all be, Black, I think there's a certain camaraderie that we should have, but that fabric is starting to erode. So I think you can hold on to it individually, you can hold on to it collectively in your family, but you can't be responsible for, how close to the heart someone else holds it. It's a great conversation, though.
No, I appreciate it. And also too, I just want to say, definitely get well soon for, your wife, Mrs. She Said. So definitely much blessings to her and main prayers,
True indeed, man. Appreciate you. Appreciate all of y'all.
Yeah, no problem. Because we need you both, man.
All right, salute to Mr. He Said, salute to the Astro Media. Sorry, I didn't salute you when you first came in. Had to change that laundry load. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. Love the background as usual. You know how we get down, man. You know how we do, brother. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Well, okay. And then also, Mr. He Said, right? Another thing what we was talking about is like labels. We could all be in the same tribe, or let's say like we're like both like Africans, but one group was born in America, the other group was born like in their original homeland, or even worse, we could still be the same race or nationality, but because of the tonality of our skin, now we're beefing. We beef over streets and all that other stuff.
Indeed. Again, unfortunate, man. Like I said, the whole jigaboo and wannabe thing, man. And for us to just pick out differences, pick out reasons for us to dislike, I think it's just what America taught us, and we just falling right in line. So me personally, I'm not in line with it. Never been a light-skinned, dark-skinned person to even point it out, and I kind of cringe when I hear people kind of allude to the light skin thing and the dark skin thing. But que sera, I'm a grown up. I can handle it, and I know it comes with some certain levels of conversation. So I just take it as that. But it's nothing that I'm in line with. I think that we all share a collective understanding that we all walk the world with a certain perception. And I think if we all, held that near and dear to our heart, we would probably move in a more positive fashion.
Well said. I like that. Lady E, what's your thoughts?
We're going back to our perception, and we were talking about social media. Unfortunately, with social media, the big screen, and what's on the tube is controlled by someone else.
Okay.
And they have the power of what they want to put in the forefront. And so, as much as we may want to spread the good energy or positive vibes or the conversations like we have here on the panel, the question is, would we get it in mainstream media? I think I shared within the group yesterday about, it might have been yesterday or the day before yesterday, about a movie that was on Hulu that's bringing awareness to Black women when it comes to prenatal care. And I don't know if you watched the trailer of the documentary, this was a video that was produced by ABC. ABC is one of the mainstreams, but yet it was only put on Hulu.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about.
So we still, we're going to have a hard time sharing what needs to be heard within the community if we're being limited to the media that we can use. I believe that documentary, if it would have made mainstream media, if it would have made something like 2020 or any of these nighttime TV show magazines, there will be a lot more awareness that's happening, but we're being limited. And so even though we're having this conversation here on the panel, it's only going to reach out to so many. So how do we get ourselves on mainstream media? Like, how do we get out there?
Well, that is a good question. It all boils down to this. Like let's say if this was like a documentary, right? Whereas like it was like, Black owned. And the whole cast was like just like, the Black community. Now it could probably only go so far because you have to now pretty much beg for the oppressors, approval, pretty much. Because he's the one who's pretty much the higher up. He has the power to say yay or nay. And if it's not fitting to his liking and his image of us and his narrative of how he wants to put it out there, then, it's not going to go that far. Even if we should try to make it, let's say, YouTube exclusive, whatever. All these platforms, are pretty much, owned by, I call it the OJs, the JEWs, if you know what I mean. Because the moment you mention their names or whatever, true, excuse me, then, they want to start canceling you. But this is why I try to advocate. I know I don't have power just me doing things alone, but with a whole nation of us, look, we just have to keep putting our money in together in order for us to really build those type of networks, to really have ownership, which that then gives us the power and control of what we could do. So, that's my intake to it.
I agree with you. I very much agree with you because I feel like when it comes to celebrity news and when our people are doing things bad, we blare it on every form of media, to mainstream, to social media, all the social media platforms, to the articles and magazines and newspapers, and we feed off of that negative energy. But, there's really nothing informative for us out there. And that's frustrating. Like for us to get information or for us to be able to sit down and have a conversation, it's so minute. It's so little. It's very little access to it.
Yeah. And that's the problem, Melody Lux. I'll let you go next. But thank you for sharing that, lady.
No, so are we still talking about social media or did we switch topics? Because I thought we switched.
I mean, no. See whatever that's on your mind next. I mean, I could give you a question if you want me to.
Sure, give me a question.
And also too on the record, we was more talking about kind of like how to kind of regain that power in order to make things happen. I mean, it doesn't have to be about social media, but it could be about business opportunities.
I'm gonna sound crazy for saying this, but I kind of think in extreme cases, take North Korea for instance, like how they regulate basically whatever they see over there and stuff like that in terms of like what they can watch and all of that stuff. I kind of think we need a little bit of that to an extent, but nothing like too over the top. Like maybe a certain limit to social media. Like I saw something today that said if you're under 18, it's an automatic TikTok ban or time limit of just an hour. I also saw something in the past that said TikTok picks, I guess, based on your country location or what type of content you see. So supposedly they're showing craziness in America, but promoting positive stuff in like China. And I think that's crazy as well. But I don't know. I think overall, not just Black people, but America in general, we need to do better.
Yeah.
So
true indeed. Very well said.
And I do think just looking at let me read the comment below once it circles back around with the question. Because I came late. I don't know if we talked about that already, but
what comment you saying?
Oh, is there racism amongst each other in the Black community? I do think so.
Yeah.
And I think it goes both ways. It's not just darker skinned people towards light skinned people, but I've seen it both ways. And I think it's crazy because we're all brothers and sisters and we all Black people at the end of the day. So, and the reasons are crazy. It's always, she thinks she cute because of this instead of just being like, I think she's attractive. And like, I find myself doing that to different women. Like, it doesn't matter your complexion or anything. And then beauty is in the eye of the beholder as well. Because we all ugly to somebody. So, I'm done.
I know that's right.
Yep.
Well, God is a pure artist, though, so.
Let me say this, family. I think the one thing that we need to start doing is we need to get back into educating each other. Educating each other on our history, on who we are, what we believe, how we should move in all aspects. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's really the main issue. There's a lack of education in our community. That's why, our unemployment rate is the way it is. That's why our STD rate is the way it is. That's why women, and men are having kids that they're not able to take care of legitimately. These are why these things are happening. This is why we're not able to build generational wealth. We stay in poverty, and we stay getting these diseases and everything else because we don't have the proper education, nor the proper resources, to really have these things going. And then we invest in the wrong things when we do get money and resources. That's the problem. We get money and resources, we invest in the wrong thing. And that just continues the cycle of self-hatred. Because now, not only am I living in a stinking, rotten community that smells bad, looks bad, don't nobody want to be here, we all on top of each other, you know what I'm saying? Like now, and then I know systematically, I'm not gonna get no new books in the school. I know that I'm gonna have to take the funky bus with everybody else. You know what I mean? Or I'm gonna have to walk down the dirty streets with everybody else. You know what I mean? And hopefully, as I'm walking to school, there's no drive-bys or there's no other foolishness going on. You know what I'm saying? So we live in these impoverished conditions, a lot of us, and then when we do finally get resources to actually enable and help us, not only do we lack the education, a lot of us lack the drive to do it as well. We lack the ambition. And that's why mental health is another huge thing within our community that's not addressed. So we just have to address these issues. We have to say, these are the issues, this is what's going on, let's address it, let's deal with it. Not let's hide behind it, not, let's go get a bottle. None of that, you know what I'm saying? Get away from all that. All that is hindering you. It's just keeping you stuck in a cycle. Not let's go get some women. None of this stuff. Go, go get you some weights. Go get you some water. Let's go to the nice neighborhood and get some real quality food. Nah, we can eat the pizza in the hood, but now let's put all our money together. Let's get some fruits and vegetables in the community that's about 20 minutes away. You know what I'm saying? We could all put money together, take a little lift, and we could all, be in that community, shop, take a lift back, or the train back. You know what I mean? We help each other carry the groceries, we bring a shopping cart, whatever. We got to start using the things that's in front of us. You know what I mean? By any means. Whatever happened to that by any means necessary? We got away from that? We got away from it? We stopped? They gave you a cell phone and a PS5 and you chill? You know what I mean? That's what it took? They give you some fast food and you get a little chick doing a little something to you and you just quit? That's all you needed? You know what I mean? They gave you all these different things to watch on TV and you quit, huh? So I just got to throw on a series about people pushing drugs and doing all types of nefarious behaviors, and you automatically quit. That's all you needed, huh? That's all you needed to sell and push away the struggle, while the struggle is still real, and it's more mental and emotional now than it's ever been. The game is very mental and emotional and spiritual now. All right, they no longer coming through with the horses and hit you over the head with the billy clubs and all that. They ain't doing all that no more. Ain't no more. They not publicly, lynching you or castrating you in public and burning your body. They no longer doing that no more. Now it's all mental, emotional, spiritual, which is even more dangerous because if I control your mind, your body is easy now. As long as I can control your mind, I control the body easily. You know what I'm saying? So, man, we just gotta wake up, man. I could cook more, but I'm gonna chill.
Shit, you on 375 right now, nigga. Simmer.
I know, man. I'm seeing clouds up here. It's nice.
What up, Queen?
Queen, what's going on?
Hello, people.
Hello, back to you.
Hey, Queen.
Hi, Melanated Deluxe. What's up,
Hey,
B?
Queen. Not much.
So, yeah, what y'all talking about, man? Don't get me started. Woo, boy. I'm gonna calm down. I'm gonna calm down.
Cooking.
Mm-hmm.
He all right.
But yeah, we're talking more about racism amongst like the Black community. Which the fellas and the ladies, they definitely gave some good points to it. here's my thing, right? And you could rock from here, Queen. But like, can we really say if someone hates, like, let's see, if someone despises a dark skinned person, if you're like you don't like dark skinned people, right? Does that make you a racist or does that make you prejudiced? Because let's say, for instance, right? I'm not talking about with black people. Light skinned black people don't like dark skinned black people. Okay? Just because of the stupid color of our skin. Or the extra layers of melanin, I guess. However you want to call it. But would that also apply to if there were probably say, let's say like Middle Eastern, okay, that's attractive looking, but one is light and the other one is dark. Does that consider racism or prejudice? What you think, Queen?
I think it could be a form of both.
Okay.
But in that you're taught that, so it's a
okay
self-destructing mindset to have. That if we are all in this, we're all of the same, race, culture, whatever. But what can I do to divide that culture is to set that culture at each other's throat. So I'm going to value the light-skinned, silkier hair person. I'm going to value the person who is not dark or, so I'm going to create these race or these colorism to tell you that you're more valuable because of the color of your skin. So with that, we see each other as the enemy instead of brethren or sisters. So, that's the best way to divide up people. It's to set them at each other's throats. I ain't got to do no more work. I sit back and watch you kill each other and destroy each other. Because I told you you were less than because of the melanin or the tone or the texture. Who told you that? We didn't tell each other that. And I know people always say, "Oh, racism, slavery happened so long ago," blah blah blah. But it was a systematic thing that has destroyed and continues to be a generational issue. So they knew what they were doing. Very smart. They were very smart. They didn't have to do no work. They just they did it in front of us. They put the dark-skinned ones in the field. They put the light-skinned ones in the house, and that was it. That's all it took. So, yeah.
Okay, then. Queen, thank you for sharing that. Well, this leads me to like another question then. Okay, following this up. Who was really at fault? Because here's the thing. We're taught to hate. We're not just born hating others. We were taught to hate. So because we was taught to hate, which is interesting because not a lot of us talk about that part. So let's get to the root. So the people who are at fault, is it whites? Is it society? Is it our family? Or is it us? Who's really at fault for it? Anybody can answer it.
So I think it's a combination of everything. It isn't just one specific setting or demographic or whatnot, because I know like in my family, like we have a range of like everything. So I know like my mom is lighter skinned. She has a sister that's lighter than her, but my mom is like sunlight yellow, but she has a sister that's kind of like white passing, and then I have like a brown skinned auntie. When my mom was younger, my brown skinned auntie like tormented her, would hold her down and like let cats lick her toes, and like even now, them being adults, it's still issues there. And just based on the conversations that I've heard since I've been grown, it was always something to do with like, well, this person liked you because of this, or you took this man from me because they liked you because you look like this. So a lot of that is fueled, I guess, on my auntie's perception of how people viewed my mom as well because of how she looked. But to me, that's crazy because at the end of the day, like, they're sisters. And I see that a lot with different women too. So I don't know. I just think I don't know if like your complexion should be viewed as a beauty standard and whatnot. And it does fuel more hate between us as one. But I know, like, I don't know who mentioned like lighter skinned people being in the house back in slavery days, but that's another issue. And I think that has transcended across like different generations, and that's why we're here now. So I do agree with whoever said that being done led to issues now as well. And I don't know if we can fix it.
But it's not something that to me is so ingrained into our day-to-day life in society. It's very hard to redo it, if that makes sense. You know, like even kids are not taught to hate, but they grow up in households where they're taught to hate. Like a child doesn't know that. A child is not born with that. So it is parents, but it's also look at what's glamorized. Even these days, like I'm gonna listen to this song, and this may be off topic, but Jasmine Sullivan and Her, and it talked about being a good girl or being a nice girl. It's not valuable anymore. They want the thoughts, they want the hoes, they want the, so you're gonna turn me, you want me because they're winning according to. So it's what you glamorize. So if I constantly glamorize the half-breed look, the black and white mix or the exotic Black and Asian, if I'm constantly glamorizing these things, a little girl who doesn't look like that, what is she being taught? No matter how much I tell her, what is she being taught? What is thrown in her face? Her hair, her texture. You know what I mean? What is constantly put in their face? So I think it's parent, but I think it's also, it's hard. It's hard to change a societal norm. Because this is a societal norm to tell you if your hair is a coilier. I mean, yeah, thank God for the Crown Act, but how long did it take to get it? But women are still demonized for their hair. So, it's a very loaded question.
Queen, thank you for bringing up the hair topic, because that should need to be addressed too. Excuse my language. Also, let me read Kings of Dreams comment, because like I do kind of agree with what he's saying. He said it is a combination for sure, but it's definitely us, because we allow society to dictate who's beautiful, regardless if you're dark and light. And yeah, I will have to agree with you on that part, only because, like, here's the thing. But when we get caught up in, well, let me say it like this. the reason why I could say like it's us on some occasions is because let's say if it's one person that is saying like, oh, you're ugly because you're light, you're dark, or whatever. Matter of fact, no, let me get to a hair topic. That would be even better. Let's say you have bad hair. One person saying you have bad hair. Like, oh, your hair's too nappy. I don't like that. You know, it looked like a sheep. You need to comb it. Versus 10 other people talking bad about your hair or making fun, whatever. Now, if you have 10 ignorant little nigglets, right, that is talking about your hair because they don't understand that this is our origin, okay? And having natural nappy hair is who we are, okay? So-called nappy, right? I'm for sure there's also another term, of course, whatever. But the point is, when you start listening to 10 of those people, now you're starting to think, well, damn, it's not one person anymore that's telling me this. These are 10 little people that's telling me I have bad hair. And then you start looking into society, and then you notice that, well, especially like in social media now these days, you're seeing blacks glorifying other nationalities' hair because it grows faster or it's straighter, it's nice and long, it has a curly texture. And so your mind is already warped in thinking like, damn, black hair don't grow. You know, our hair is jacked up. Why can't our hair look like their hair? Oh man, this girl's so beautiful because her hair, the any hair, like it's like down to her butthole. You know what I mean? And then you start feeding into that stigma.
Hey, yo.
The butthole.
Rapunzel. I'm a little different. M3. For me, I think it's indoctrination. And I definitely agree with everybody when they say it's us, because we accept the indoctrination. We actually send our children to the schools. But I read a lot of Jane Elliott, and just the way the map is perceived, the way people are perceived, the way history is perceived in school kind of sets a trajectory and a depiction of people. And it's really kind of hard to get away from. Now, I don't know if it's racism, bigotry. Now, when you get down to the words, you know, what they mean specifically, I'm not sure exactly what everybody means. But for me, I think that indoctrination and education kind of makes all of us. I don't care who you are, what color you are. If you went to a public school in America from kindergarten to 12th grade, you a bigot. You don't like black people, and you probably black. The minute you get some money, you're going to move to a neighborhood where it's not a lot of black people.
I mean, true. Well, does that stem from past traumas within the community, Mr. He said?
It stems from the school teaching you black people are bad.
But you know, I didn't get that at school. I got that in the community. So I got it around the Puerto Ricans, the Dominicans, that lived around me and told me I wasn't black because my hair was curlier than theirs, that I was not black enough. So it wasn't my people telling me this. It was other races telling me this. Why did I look this way? And I didn't look like my sister, who may have had coilier hair and not as silky as mine. My cousin, oh, y'all not related? Look at your skin texture. So it was the ignorance of the other races that gave me somewhat, or attempted to give me a self-esteem issue because of the way I looked, and telling me I wasn't black enough. It wasn't black people. It was mostly from non-black people who were saying this to me.
But goddamn.
Yeah. So I got into a lot of fights. and shut a few people up.
May I click real quick, you know, if I can?
Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Best. I was gonna say something. Yeah, go ahead. Because I know you've been quiet for a minute.
Salute to Edom Man Williams. I see you in the building.
Mm-hmm.
Let me say this, right? At the end of the day, you know, who fault really is it? I mean, look, systematically, we know different things have been done. We can't ignore that. We can't brush over it. You know what I'm saying? And we know that even from how we're raised, right? You know what I mean? And how that much of an impact that is. If you don't have both parents in the home, that's going to affect a lot of different things. Salute to OGPatrice. You know what I'm saying? So if you only got one parent in the home, it's going to affect you. If you got both parents in your home, it's going to affect you. You know what I'm saying? If you have no parents in the home and your grandparents is raising you, that's going to affect you. And in our communities, we know we go through the stigma, right? We know that so-and-so down the block, you know what I mean? He grew up with his grandparents. His mom and dad wasn't around. Or so-and-so only grew up with his dad. Or so-and-so only grew up with his mom. Or somebody got shipped from one area and now they live with their aunts or their cousins or whatever. We know that we have all this dysfunction in our upbringing, yet we just have this fantasy in our mind that we're supposed to be the extraordinary people once we become adults, right? And that happens for no one. No one. Okay? You have to have a strong family unit. Strong family units, you know what I mean, with values, tradition, and morals, produces good people. Most of the time. Produces productive people. Because they're taught how to be productive citizens from their home. You know what I mean? They're taught these things. But if you're not taught none of this stuff, we just expect the people just to come out of the ghetto and somehow just be the greatest businessman in the world. Just know how to just work a 9-to-5, know how to have a bank account, know how to manage credit, know how to take care of kids, know how to do all these things. It's just delusional. It's utter delusional. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things that we were just not taught, and a lot of things we just don't know, just based on our essence. You know what I mean? And if we're fortunate to even have some of the things that people have not had, if you're fortunate to grow up both parents, you need to salute your parents. You need to give them a high five, right? All that.
Oh, Best to cut out.
Parents came and got him.
Let me know when I'm back in 3.
What'd you say, Mr.
He said that Karens came and got him.
Yeah, right. Them Karens gonna get got. They go over there and mess with him. He ain't no dude. Them Karens gonna get got real quick.
See, but here's the thing. The YouTube oppressor was trying to hold Mr. Best down, but still he rises.
But
come on up, Mr. Best.
Told y'all that.
It's truth to what he's saying though, because I do feel like people end up being victims of their surroundings. Mm-hmm. And yeah, we all do have the same 24 hours, but if you're not aware of certain, let's say like programs, like I know in DC, it's some kind of like IT program that's open to citizens of DC. Like I think it's more so for like lower income, like Black people too. But a lot of people don't know that program exists, so they're not taking advantage of it. And then you have to worry about your day-to-day living arrangements as well, or expenses too, before you can even go deal with that program. Like let's say you have kids, or you have to take care of an elderly family member, or like a sick parent and stuff too. That puts you in a rough spot too. So it's stuff available. Making sure people have the opportunity to do it, that's what I think is hurting us as well.
But even with the opportunities, right? There are still so many restrictions that you face in those opportunities. And I sent some of the young people I work with in the past to different tech companies, right? Because they're offering these internships, right? Mm-hmm. But even in that, those same those same young people, where there's a big group of young people, all races, let's just say that. The Black kids aren't even allowed to do certain things, even in that. Like, their restrictions are even more than, and it's supposed to be an internship. So it's supposed to be the same across the board, but even in that, they have so many things. Like one group, one company, the kids had to turn in their badges every day. The other kids didn't have to turn in their badges. They could ride the free shuttle buses. But those Black kids, they couldn't ride the shuttle buses. They had to turn in their badges. They couldn't go in certain areas in this company. But they all have the same internship. Their job description is the same. So even in that, it's limitations where sometimes different races are let you know, yeah, you here, but you ain't equal to them sitting next to you. So even in that, could you imagine? We all have the same opportunity, and even in the same room, you tell me to my face and show me every day that I'm beneath everyone here. It's not a joke. You know, these kids, I feel like a lot of reason why they act the way they act is because of what they go through.
Yeah.
And people say, oh, well, you got more. But no, but you ain't dealing with what they deal with. You ain't dealing with the same thing. You know what I mean? It's almost like you Rosa Parks again. You can't even sit on the back of the bus. You got to walk behind it.
Damn.
You're true. You're right. Very right. I know, too, like I volunteer with foster children that are in the system in Maryland, because I live in Maryland, but I'm like really close to DC. But I don't know, a lot of those, not those kids, but a lot of the kids in the system, they also have like unaddressed trauma and like mental issues as well that I feel like needs to be addressed to help them. And they also aren't aware of all of the resources that are available to them in that program as well. So that's kind of what I do. Like, I advocate for them, go to court with them, and be their voice if they're afraid to speak up and whatnot, just to make sure that the best outcome for them is what happens at the end.
And Melanated Lux, I'm gonna ask you this: when you look at the kids who are in that system, when you look at maybe if they're part of a program, a social service agency that's working with them,
yes,
look at the color of the skin of their case manager and how that case manager treats them.
You're correct.
I'm not even gonna go there.
I know what you're talking about.
Go there with you. So that's a whole nother thing. So then you have this young person who's already behind so many bars and behind the 8 ball so many times, and now they're supposed to have a case management or youth advocate who already constantly perpetuates the systematic stereotype and is putting them even further behind. But this is the person that was chosen to support them. And then they wonder why they don't get the outcomes is because of who they put over this person. So I'm not even going to go there. Yeah. That's a whole nother story.
I know exactly what you're talking about. So that's why I laughed when you first said it, because I saw that like firsthand with my first case. So it was crazy because I was like, why is she talking about this girl like this? And then I met her and I'm like, she is nothing like this. Maybe it's just you that she's like that with. But yeah.
So if she talking like that with you as another professional, how you think she treating that young person?
I agree. I haven't been around them at the same time though, but I just know I get 2 different stories. But you are correct if you're saying X, Y, and Z to me about the child. I'm like, okay, I think you're the problem. So that's all. But yeah, like I said, my goal right now with the girl that I work with is just to make sure she's good. And like, she could call me whenever at any time. I'll get up out of my bed and go help her. But I don't know. And I think another issue too is everybody does not have positive role models and mentors as well. So solutions are needed. And I'm off my soapbox.
Welcome, E-Man Williams.
What's up? What's up? I got a meeting that started in 30 minutes, but I wanted to dive into this conversation, so I might come a little bit hard 30 minutes straight, you know. But there's something that I've been researching. I really don't think I don't think that we have racism in the Black community. I think it's something that is a talking point that a lot of people try to use. I think we have a lot of classism. If you know what classism is, it's like other classes of people jealous of people with money or jealous of people without money. And that's something that we can prove. But I don't think people walking around just saying, I don't like you because your skin is dark or your skin is light. I think people are jealous of like pretty privilege. Some people say, hey, they get more attention than I get. So they send those type things. But I think it's a lot deeper than what we think it is. But I don't think it got anything to do with the color of your skin. And the one thing that a lot of white folks like using is saying things like, I got a Black friend. So it says that he's not discriminating just based off color. Because if it was just by color, like this is a very in detail thing because I look at racism and say that you discriminated only because of racism. Like that have to be like the single factor. But when we start looking and diving deeper into it, I might not like you because you're an asshole. Did that make me racist? Is I'm racist because you're an asshole? Like
you said might be an asshole, so you're not even sure. So yeah, it is because you're painting me the picture as an asshole when you're not even sure yourself. You say might.
Well, I think when we look at this thing on the internet, a lot of people have a perception of me, never met me, never had a conversation with me. So is they discriminating towards me? I think it's kind of natural in human nature, like a protecting mechanism to be kind of subject of certain people.
I mean, I absolutely understand where you're coming from, but again, you know, we come from the jigaboos and the wannabes, and even now, like I said, when we get money, we buy a house. And the first question we ask our realtor is like, who's the neighbors? We go to the neighborhood to check out who's around there. Why do we do that?
Oh, I can tell you why, because I did it. Because I don't want nobody breaking in my shit. Like this idea. Hold on, I looked up the crime rate. I wanted to know, hey, what is the crime rate? What is the chance of people breaking in my house here versus me breaking in my house on that side of town? I think it's a safety mechanism that I need to protect my family. And I think there's nothing wrong with that. I shouldn't have to move in the hood because I'm Black. Like, I think it's almost like that idea that I think it's nothing wrong with you putting your family in the best situation that they're going to be safe. I like that my kids can walk down the street and play down the street and they ain't got to worry about the crazy neighbors next door doing something to my kids. I think it's just a safety mechanism. I don't think it have anything to really do with race.
But you can have somebody do something to your kid and break into your house in any neighborhood.
Yes.
And actually, the ones who do stuff to your kids live in the neighborhood you want to live in. That's what if you look at the history. Look at most trafficked houses. Look where they at. They not in the hood, honey.
You wrong.
They in the suburbs, baby.
Let me tell you how I know you're wrong. See, if
I'm not wrong.
Wait, hold on, email, hold on.
Play yourself.
Okay, so
I'm confused. So did you move into the neighborhood that you live in based off of the crime rate or because it wasn't as many Black people over there?
I think it was a lot of different factors on why I moved it. That's why I tell people this is so complex. It's not just a race thing. So many people just try to say people don't make decisions on one level. That's the point that I make it. Like people don't just say, oh, you know, Black people over there, so I don't want to live there. That's not how people make decisions.
I've heard a bunch of people say that though.
Oh, wait. Melody Lux, email was still talking. Hold on for 1 second.
Okay.
I'm saying people make multi-layered decisions, and that's the point. Like we're not that simple that we just say white people over there. That mean that it's safe. No, if I go to a trailer park full of white people, I'm not gonna think it's safe. Like my mind is not gonna think that. So this idea that I could just look at the color of somebody and I could be that simple-minded to think that I'm going to be safe, I think it's just completely outrageous.
Go ahead, man.
Nobody said that.
So thank you for explaining that, because like when you first said it, that's automatically where my mind went, because like, for instance, where I stay is straight black people. We might have a couple Asian and white families sprinkled throughout, but these are like black people with money. So I haven't seen any hood stuff. I've never seen the police in my neighborhood or nothing like that. And I moved from Northern Virginia to Maryland. And it's funny because like most of my friends that still live in Nova, they asked me like, why did you move to Maryland? And I was like, one, I wanted to be closer to more black people. So that's why. And it's like, it wasn't really a classist thing, but I wanted to be around black people that were getting money, had businesses and stuff like that to motivate me.
You didn't want to be around broke people. You didn't.
It wasn't broke people. So it was more like a motivation factor. So
you didn't want to be. See, it's okay. Listen, I guess I'm the only person to say I didn't want to stay close to broke people. The reason I spent this much money for my house, I want to be around people of my class. That is normal. That is a normal thing. It's not a shot.
But so in my case, I could have done that in Virginia too. I didn't like how I was, or like how my son was there. So that's another reason. And then I also felt like, please don't hate me when I say this, I felt like most of the black people that I encountered in Northern Virginia, I don't know, like they didn't give me black, if that makes sense. So it was like questions my son was asking me, like, the Tulsa massacre are like black events that happen over time. He wasn't learning that in Virginia. He didn't know Juneteenth. So I'm like, okay, like I would prefer, let's move so we're not going through like that crazy awkward stage as you become a man, stuff like that. So
okay, so more like culturally aware.
Yeah. Yep.
But okay,
more like less indoctrination.
Yes.
She wanted him to learn a little bit about people versus what they teach, and that alluded to thrusting, my daughter into homeschooling. We did not want to teach her about slavery, about people being slaves and coming here and doing whatever it is that they depict in their books. We wanted to depict them more as people that went through an experience and so on and so forth. But again, for me, it's just the indoctrination, the education level, and the way they depict us in the history books and so on and so forth is just, I'm not in line with. And kudos to you as a mom, for taking his education so wholeheartedly, because a lot of moms don't do that. Sorry.
Yeah. So let me ask you this though. And maybe E-Man could probably clarify, but does it still tie into like class, pretty much, like classism? Because like you're trying to match the type of level that you're on. So let's say, for instance, for me, right? I don't give a shit about whoever gets offended, but if I came from a hood, right? And I'm not looking down on hood people. That's not my intent.
Of course not.
But I've seen and witnessed firsthand. I went from the hood to the ghetto in the streets or whatever. Let's just put it like that. In these type of neighborhoods, I know what it's like, especially when people will break into your home. Especially if you invest into the hood, and you have community buildings, and your own people are vandalizing, breaking into stuff because they are jealous of what you do, and then some of these Negroes, right, have the nerve to classify you as non-black because you're just trying to do things successfully, and then they switch it into you being the token Negro or white black. I call it dark skin white, pretty much. Dark white. That's what you might as well call me. If I'm not talking a certain type of lingo or slang, So excuse me for speaking, I guess, I don't know, white man's English or whatever. But for me, I will get out of a certain neighborhood just to go to a neighborhood where it's like that matches my energy. So maybe that's considered as classism, or whatever, however you want to call it. That's how I'm kind of understanding it from E-Man's point of view, because I'm not looking at. I'm trying to get out away from black people. I'm looking for how can I get away from these particular folks that is not matching my energy and doesn't mean me any good, let alone try to tear whatever I'm trying to do down.
Yeah, I think that's the key, because what a lot of people not talking about is we don't want to be around these lower class white people. We're not signing up to go live by them. So most people, we look at this. I think somebody's.
Oh, no. I think it's good now.
I had a chance. I had a chance to go this weekend to sit down to someone talk about a new school that they're creating, right? And it wasn't black folks. Let me tell you that. And they was talking about this new school, and the school's going to teach on teaching kids how to proper communicate. Like, why we're not teaching how to communicate in school? Problem solving, leadership. They also said emotional intelligence, accountability, innovation. Like, it comes down to a point where you guys, as a parent, I got to put my kids around the best thing that's going to be able to help them be prepared for life. I'm not trying to make sure that they qualify for being black in somebody's eyes. I know I'm black. The one thing I did know is growing up close to the hood, guess what? People was getting jumped walking to school. People were scared to go to school because of the fact that walking down the street wasn't safe. And I know people say, well, that's not for everybody. I think we should put our kids in the safest environment that's possible. And just because I have elevated myself, are we going to say Dr. Dre's not black? Are we going to say Snoop Dogg's not black? Just because they start moving like wealthy people? We need to get out of this color, and we need to start really understanding these social classes. Because if you understand these social classes, it have nothing to do with color, because it's black people, white people, polka dot people in every last one of these classes, hands down.
I don't think anybody said.
I disagree.
You less black. I don't.
I'm sorry. Hold on, lady. What did you say, Queen?
I said I don't think anybody was saying being in a safe neighborhood is you not being black. That's you making a better choice for you and your family, which is nothing wrong with that.
So, Queen, the only thing I'm saying is this right here. If I decide to move away from the hood, hold on. If I decide to move away from the hood, people say, oh, he don't want to be around black people. And I'm telling you, that's not the reality. The reality is I want to be around safe people, and I don't care the color. I don't think that much into the color of their skin. I don't make decisions like, hey, I hope my neighbor's black, or I hope my neighbor's white. I hope that my neighbor's is a decent human being that is part of the same social class that I am, so they're not knocking on my door asking me for sugar. Like these are the ideas. Is like, I want them to be able to be sustainable on their own.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Lady E, what did you say? I know you was trying to say something.
I mean, I understand where he's coming from, but I still, in a sense, disagree somewhat, because yes, we all want better for our kids and we want the safest environment for them, but sometimes that surroundings is not always accepting of them. So that's why when they say self-representation matters, that's a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that
is a huge deal.
Me? See, I am I'm the black figure that they see. I am the self-representation. And I'm not, so even the neighborhood that I live in is not an all-white neighborhood. It's a diverse neighborhood. It's black people, Asian people, white people. We got a whole bunch of islanders in my neighborhood. I don't live in an all-white neighborhood, but
no, I'm not just speaking of the neighborhood. I'm also speaking of the schools and the churches and all the things that make up the neighborhood and the community. There still needs to be that representation for your children, for your spouse, for yourself, you know, all of those people come into play.
So Lady E, I think we do a disservice by only letting our kids around black people. This is what
No, I didn't say not to only allow them. I'm saying the representation matters, which means they still have a voice and they're still also going to be treated equal, because you can sit there and move in a safe neighborhood, but your kids may not be in a school where they may actually be welcomed because of the color of their skin.
So, lady, none of us are equal. This idea, I know we live in a world that people think that are equal. Guess what? I know for a fact that if me and M3 walk into a room, we're not going to be treated equal. And I'm okay with that. I think we got to start telling people the truth. You're not going to be equal. It's your responsibility to walk into a room and to be able to demand respect. Respect is not always given. You have to earn it. And what you got to do, I just think kids that grows up in a diverse community are more equipped than people who grows up in just a black community. It gives them more ideas of what the world really is, in my opinion.
But just because they grow up in a diverse community, that doesn't mean that community accepts them. And just, you know, like, that's what she's saying. Like, yeah, you can make better choices for your family, but at the end of the day, is it a better choice for your child? Are you going to really equip that child to deal with the things that they have to deal with on a daily basis at school? I'm not saying put them in the hood either. I'm just saying, like, it's not always, the grass ain't always greener on the other side. Sometimes it's worse.
Okay. Oh, hold that thought, E-Man, right? I got to get to Melody and Lux, and I know Mr. Best haven't talked for a minute, so let's get their sides real quick, and then I'll get back to you.
So I just want to know why either man said if both of y'all walked in the room at the same time, y'all wouldn't get the same respect. Like, what was that based on?
That could be based on... Oh,
I did not say we wouldn't get the same respect. I said we wouldn't be equal.
Okay, so why would y'all not be equal? Both of y'all are two black men walking into a room, so why not?
Because the world doesn't work. Oh, go ahead, M3. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was supposed to say, like, it could be for whatever reason. It could just be like the way you dress, the tonality, the way how you speak, carry yourself, or it could be the color of your skin. But you're in someone else. Let's just say if this was a restaurant or a place that is not owned by the people that's like you or that's like-minded, everybody's gonna have a certain type of difference and a certain type of perception about you. Even if you go to a place where it's like, no, let's say if it's all black or whatever, right? You may have teachers that's not even gonna like you for whatever reason. You know, I think going back, you really do have assholes.
But that would be them being prejudiced, correct? If they're judging you based off of how you're dressed and how you look, if you never opened your mouth when you walked in there.
Well, yeah, of course. I mentioned that, like, you know, earlier, like within the stream, like, you know, people could be prejudiced just because of just you being who you are that they do not like. I will continue on, but I want to get to Mr. Best real quick. But thank you though for that question.
I think in our community, you know, I would never tell us not to strive to do things better or to even make things better for our kids or for our families and for those around us. So if that was, and I believe that was either man's intentions, was to make life better for his family and those around him. I truly believe that. And I believe that I know that just from interactions with him and me seeing the things that he shared on social media, he works tremendously hard to do that. You know, I mean, probably harder than all of us know. So salute to you, either man, for that, man, for taking care of your family and those around you. I will say this though, at the end of the day, I do feel like our people should try to be a factor in our communities, right? Even if we move out, for those who are looking for inspiration. Granted, there are going to be some people who are not, okay? There'll be some people who don't care about what we're doing. They're not looking for inspiration. They may be negative or whatever the case may be. But I think for us, if we are from a certain community, and we know that community may have different things, poverty-wise and things of that nature. You know what I mean? We don't have to necessarily be there 24/7 or even be around to make our impact known. But the thing that happens with us a lot of times too is that, and I've been guilty of this, you move in a nice area, you start making some good money, you know what I mean? And you start thinking that you more than what you are. You know what I mean? I've been there. You know what I'm saying? Flumacy said, you know what I mean? And I've had to basically really look myself in the mirror and say, you know what I mean? I'm not better than anybody, man. In fact, you know what I'm saying? What I should be doing is using with the things that I have in order to help and inspire people. You know what I mean? Because I've already taken care of home. That's taken care of. I already got that nailed down. So I can help those, around me, or make people in my community better, or do things to help those around me better. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's really the thing. Because a lot of times, we get this money and we just start thinking that we are just invincible, and that we're just better than everybody, and that people should just damn near worship the ground we work on, and that's not the case. Salute to Stan. Glad to have you in the building. You know what I'm saying? With that being said, though, that's the only thing. That's the only thing I would say is for us not to adopt the cool nature when we get money. You know what I mean? But for us to still be connected to our communities in some way. Maybe not. Maybe if the community is so dangerous we can't literally go back. But maybe doing little things to help out through a third party or through someone else. You know what I mean? Man, I want to help out my hood. I know my hood dangerous. I ain't going back there. But let me send some money to help out somebody in this need or to help out this cause. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to actually be there for my impact to be felt. You know what I mean? I think some people think that we actually got to be in the hood. You don't have to be in the neighborhood to make your impact felt. And I think a lot of brothers and sisters get caught up of, I got to be there in the community so they can just see my face. They don't got to see your face. You know what I mean? They don't have to. You know what I mean? If you want to help your community and you want to go and you want to help the neighborhood you came from, you don't have to be there. Stop falling into that trap of trying to still show that you're relatable, still show that you're cool and all that stuff. You don't got to do none of that, man. If you want to help out the community, you want to help out the kids in your school, they having a toy drive, you can send money to a family member who lives in that neighborhood still, or through a friend or through an associate. Hey man, can you give money to the toy drive? I don't mess with I don't come back to my hood. You know that already, but I still want to help out. And I mean, we can still do that. So we don't have to be in our neighborhoods to impact our neighborhoods. You know what I mean? Stop trying to, stop trying to impress people and just do the good that's on your heart. You know what I mean? And I think that's what will make our communities a lot better. Not all of us are meant to be boots on ground in our neighborhoods. We just not. All right, some of us are meant to play the background. And that's how it is.
Salutes to Stan. Stan, is that you? Email, I got you next.
Stan, what up?
Yeah, it's me. What's up, everybody?
Okay, cool. What's up, Stan? E-Man, like I saw the infamous, shaking your head, SMH. So go ahead, man.
I just tell people you should invest in the neighborhoods you stay in. You don't owe your old community nothing. You're not indebted to them just because they're doing worse than you. I just don't believe in that fight. Like I really invest in my community. Like if you know what I'm doing, I'm not even going to talk about that. I think where I take up space, I should make the biggest impact at. Right? Like I said, this idea that we have to save people, we got this mentality that I just believe everybody had the opportunity that I had. And I know that might sound naive, it might sound selfish, but I think anybody can change their life if they choose to. They just got to make the decision to do it.
But they also got to have the support to do it. Well, it's not that simple.
Well, hold on for a second. Mr. Bez, let me go back to you real quick, right? When you mentioned about helping the community, were you talking about helping like your original, I'm talking like, okay, let's say your original place of stay, or are you talking about anywhere you go, wherever you reside in, it's okay to help your community? Or you're both?
Both. If you want, it's if you want to. right?
Yeah.
It's not a requirement. So either man, I'm not saying it's a requirement. You know what I mean? You misquoted me. I didn't say it was a requirement. I said if you want to help the community, there's ways to do it where you're not putting your life in danger. You know what I mean? You know you like to wear your jewelry, or you like to drive a certain type of car, and you still want to help. You don't have to go back to the community. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to go back there in order to help. You know what I mean? I do agree with Queen that, you know, if it wasn't for certain people doing certain events, you know, helping us kids out who was living in those poverty communities like I grew up in, and kind of, you know, giving us a way out. You know what I'm saying? Whether it was through different programs or whatever, who knows where I would be? You know what I'm saying? Look. But it took those people doing those things and supporting us, you know, taking us on those field trips and things of that nature to get us out of our neighborhoods. It don't matter if it was a good 3 or 4 hours. Look, we're going to take you on a field trip. We're going to go to a museum in a whole different, you know, part of the town, and you're going to see a different slice of life. Those things help. It helped me to change my perception of the world and seeing that it was bigger than my neighborhood. So those are the things that help me. But like I said, it's a choice. If you don't want to help, you know, the community you came from, it's fine. It's fine. You know what I mean? You know, understand that, you know, those youth that you don't help, yeah, they can become a negative adherence to everyone around them, and maybe a negative adherence to you if you're close enough or closer proximity. You know what I mean? But if you move like far away, like you move states away, then yeah, they gonna affect you. But if you kind of still in the same area and you just move to a better part of town, it can still affect you in some light of fact. But like I said, it's a choice. We choose to do what we want to do, and we choose to help who we want to help. And that's all I'm saying.
Okay, ladies, just want to let you know. Okay, Queen, after when you say something right, I gotta get to Stan because Stan's just top here, so I just want to give him a chance.
And I'm gonna say this: no other culture says that bullshit. No other culture say that they don't own anything to their culture. They move collectively and they move together. Shake your head. I don't care. I've lived it. I've watched them. That's why when shit was closing down, none of those Chinese restaurants or those cultural restaurants closed down. You know why? Because they supported each other. That's bullshit. We are the only culture that deems this bullshit attitude. So move out, because you're not black anymore. You didn't grow up in the hood. You don't owe it to them. Then fine. Move out. I'm talking. Please don't cut me off. They don't move like that. They don't. They have community centers. They have food banks. They have after-school programs for those kids in that community. They take each other. They support each other, and they take care of each other. That's bullshit. Hasidic Jews in Brooklyn, they own neighborhoods. They roll together. Don't play yourself. It's full of shit. That's why our black community is the way it is because we think once we get a few zeros behind our body that we no longer own anything to anybody. Stay out. Please don't help us. Please stay away from me. Please, if you think like that, please don't ever help another brown person in life. Stay the fuck away from us. We don't need Uncle Toms. We need people who really give a damn.
There you go.
And at the end of the day, everybody needs support. So this is bullshit. Everybody talking all this hee-haw, pat yourself on the back bullshit. But you had a support system behind you. So stop with the fucking cap. Stop with the fucking cap.
Okay, hold on. E-Man, I know you want to say something, but hold on.
I gotta go. I ain't got nothing to say. I appreciate you having me on. I'm gonna let it end with that. Because it was straight bullshit. Like, we don't see white people. We don't see white people investing into the trailer park.
Queen, chill.
Hold on.
Relax.
I got a meeting that I had to go to anyways. Appreciate y'all guys having me up here. And we see it all the time. They gotta attack us when we don't do what they want to. Like, I see this all the time. If we don't spend our money where they want us to spend our money, now we ain't black enough. We are Uncle Tom. I didn't say I didn't invest in black people. And that's what they do. They have to attack our character when we don't do what they want to. It's a form of manipulation. But I appreciate y'all guys for having me up. Y'all guys be safe. I got to get in this meeting. Talk to y'all guys later.
Well, thank you, E, for tuning in. And I definitely understood where you was coming from as far as like helping out within your own community by your own choice. You have choices to make. But I know you got to go eat, man. So thank you again, man. Hopefully we'll see you again soon. Okay. I do have to get with Stan, right? Lady E, I know that you said you was misinterpreted. I will get to you right after Stan, okay? If you don't mind.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Hey, what's up? Man. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Stan.
What up, Stan?
Hey, which question? I know there's a lot of questions that popped up, so I don't know which one would you want me to answer.
Well, we was kind of like talking about, before email left, we was talking about like, okay, communities, right? So let's say, for instance, you have the community where you grew up in, and now you have the community where you currently live in. Excuse me, where you currently reside. Now, do you believe that you should help both communities? Your former community, the community you lived in, and then the community the community where you came from, and the community you live in now. What's your thoughts, opinions?
I'm much more for the people, so I don't care so much about where I used to live because one, gentrification took place in San Francisco, so it's not even the same right now. So it's not even my community that I grew up in. So they got rid of all the black and brown people. So, I'm not even representative, so I don't know what to do about that. But, for people that look like me and that grew up like me, I'm there for them.
Bingo.
That's where I'm at because, we get the least amount of help.
Say that again.
And that's what I meant by representation matters.
No. We ain't supposed to help each other, remember? We ain't supposed to we supposed to do our own.
But that separation
of class is what creates the division.
Hello.
So if you separate yourself from the hood, not saying that you have to funnel your money, but you can't forget about them. And so that's why you're gonna have that separation that, I'm better than this person. This is why you have different black nationalities thinking that they're better than another black nationality because there's all of this separation. That's the point that I'm trying to bring up.
No. We don't know what we're talking about, remember? Because other races, they don't do that, right? They don't move collectively, right? They don't move as a united front, right? It's just us who want
One question led to a whole bunch of anger and hostility. Come on, man.
Come on, man. What are we talking about?
I didn't press any. I just want to let you know.
I don't care, but it is. I do have it because I hate when we get up here and we start talking all this bullshit. Because at the end of the day, if we walked in wearing the same suit in the same room, they both see us as niggas. So don't play yourself. Amen. Remember that.
Okay, so but y'all can't think.
You think you above me because you live in a better neighborhood. Guess what? I live in a great neighborhood. When I pull out my driveway and other races see me pull out that driveway, they look 3 and 4 times, damn near breaking their neck, seeing where I'm coming from. So don't play yourself. They don't want you there either. They tolerate you. Nigga, know your place.
Hold on. If it's up, then it's stuck, man.
All right.
No, I ain't trying to guilt nobody out. You got something more to say, you typing. Come back up here then. Don't. You supposed to have a meeting. Go take
Hold on. Now I'm doing a hold on. You know what I'm saying?
Because at the end of the day, they'll tell you who you are. So you keep thinking you are. Y'all, don't do that.
Okay, hold on.
Don't do that. Because at the end of the day,
now everybody is saying hold on, but y'all know he control that shit, so hold the fuck up.
Hold up.
Again.
Yeah, clown.
Hey, Lola.
Relax, everybody. Relax.
It's all good.
It's
all
not
good.
that serious.
I know.
Like,
I know.
like
I'm at the circus. I forget where I'm at. I'm on the YouTube circuits.
So ladies, calm down real quick because y'all took it way too left though. Like it's not like the man is saying that he don't want to invest into like black people. He's just saying wherever he goes, that's where he's gonna put his investment into it, right? That doesn't mean that I'm gonna invest into like non-black people only, and I'm just gonna single out like
No. That's not what I'm saying.
No, I know, but hold on, because in the comments, they say Queen is big mad, so I'm just saying, right, that it's not about when we get a little bit of money and we move to these communities because we think that we're better than you guys. It's just that we move because we're not safe around some of these guys.
That's fine.
And it doesn't have to be about black people, but it could be where you currently reside. I mean, I could have my car getting broken into any neighborhood, even in the good neighborhoods wherever I moved at. But if the frequency is high, where it's like, oh my gosh, like, we're getting like gunshots around the neighborhood. Now I have children. We have children. Now you gotta really like think like, okay, maybe there's certain people like, Alfredo and I don't know, Alfred and Jake and whatever, right? I'm come on with these damn white names.
Whatever. And I can control myself. Don't talk all that shit in the chat.
You have to leave, right? Hold on, I'm not finished though. You have to leave in a neighborhood where you feel safe in, that's so much. So you have to be in a community, right, where you personally feel safe. It may not even be like the right decision, but you're doing the right decision for your family. It's not about you or anybody else at this point. It's about the safety of your family. And so you gotta go where you're safe at. That doesn't mean stop giving to your people. Because I will never try to advocate somebody, right, to just move away and just not advocate or not really, contribute into helping the people out. And it don't have to be finances, but give your time. Help somebody else out. Help motivate that person, right, to not just sell for something less and feel like the ghetto and the hood is okay. Because really it's not, especially it brings a breed of other little nigglets, right, that's going to be running around, being dead, in jail, and other things, or having a lack of learning resources. So we want to make sure that we continue to build each other up in any way that we can. I think people
bringing nothing out of me.
I can't. What? Huh?
So when you make a statement that you owe nothing to the community, meaning.
But he didn't say he owed nothing to the community.
Hold on. He said he don't owe. He said something like, "I don't owe anything to black people or whatever, the hood or whatever else." Hold on. Let me finish what I'm saying. I don't care. I'll go back and look at the replay and I will recant my statement. But for
one question led to a whole bunch of anger and hostility. Come on, man.
Come on, man. What are we talking about?
Thank you, Bess.
Look, when you talk about other communities and other cultures, they don't have this mindset. And that was
the
my
whole entire point. And that's why I'm here to try to correct you.
That's what I was saying. But then he's shaking his head saying, no, that's not true. And it is true. It is true.
Okay. So let me tell you what
go tend to your meetings.
So
you ain't on the stream no more. You're irrelevant. Stay in the chat where you belong.
Melody Lux, hold on. Okay. So Lucia, I know you have to go. If there's
do what? I agree with different points of what everyone said, but I do align with what the women are saying in this point.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what I was speaking to before about, like, if we're aware of certain resources and us helping one another. Because that's kind of like us leaving people behind when they don't have to be behind. Like, pay it forward. Nobody's saying you have to be. Nobody's saying you have to be like boots on the ground or anything. But if you could help, why not help? So.
Hey man, look, don't leave because I want to finish my statement. I want you to listen to it.
Yeah, I'll wait.
Okay. So growing up in a diverse community, aka San Francisco, where everybody act black but then look black. And if you're from the Bay Area, you know what I'm talking about. It was important for me because I grew up in the South to find people that was like-minded. Mm-hmm. And one place for me was going to an all-black church. Yeah. Another thing for me to do was to go out and seek out little black communities in San Francisco. And then when that wasn't enough, I went to Oakland and start building up my Oakland, pack because I needed that. I needed to be around other people that look like me, and not even around smoking weed or anything like that. But it was important for me to have that experience growing up. And I like you talking about my late teens into my 20s. Like I needed to have a strong sense of self. And that helped me a lot with the jobs and going to college in the Bay Area.
No, and see, that's kind of the point I was making with me moving from Northern Virginia to Maryland with my son. It wasn't so he could have like that experience. I don't know, like that situation was weird because like, one, I got tired of people thinking my son was mixed, right? So every time we went somewhere, somebody's like, hey, are you mixed? Are you this? Are you that? And then, like I said, he was really unhappy there. So like, we moved during COVID. He came to Maryland, made friends, played football. It was cool. And I feel like in this area, I more so have like a tribe around us that helps us. Like I have friends from back home that live out here and whatnot. So they look out for us as well. It's just overall a better experience. But I don't know.
What you say it's a real thing because growing up in San Francisco, there was 3 types of black class. Mm-hmm. You had thug life, straight up in the projects, right? That just all they did was the projects. You had those of us that was going to school and working. We were in the middle, and and then you had the black people that only hung around the white people, and they had nothing to do with you, right? But that was the 3 classes that you had growing up in San Francisco. So for me, that wasn't enough. I needed to go to Oakland. Like everyone, like, why you keep on going to Oakland? Why you keep on going to Oakland? Like I needed that. Like I need to see other people that look like me doing other things. Mm-hmm. And that was so important. So what you're doing for your son is good because it's important because you just need to see something different.
Yep, I agree wholeheartedly. Is either man gonna come back up?
No, I mean, like he said, he has his meeting that he has to go to, but yeah, let me just say this though, okay? Because I did hear what he said, and I just want to make sure that no one's being slandered or there's no misunderstanding. See, the problem what happened is that E-Man thought that what Mr. Best, he kind of misquoted Mr. Best or misunderstood Mr. Best when Mr. Best was talking about about how we need to give to our communities. He was thinking that as if Mr. Best was saying that you need to give to both communities where you stay and where you're originally from. And then that's when he made that statement that he doesn't owe anything to his community, which he is absolutely right. But I will still say, if you came from a community where people who have helped you, who raised you to be the man that you are, and if you have any chance to give something back, and it don't have to be something that's stationary, it could be the way how you give back is give back to those, right, that's around you that you are able to help give. It don't have to be, let me just go back to my community and travel and then start giving all these gifts. No. Okay. If you see the next person that is aspiring to be someone, right, to be someone that's great, and you have those tools and capabilities, go ahead and help serve. Give up a little bit of time. Sometimes, look, there's just people that just want to list that just wants to sorry, not listen, wants to talk, right?
Yep.
They want to talk about maybe their frustrations. They probably have come from troubled childhoods. I'm not telling you to be a therapist because none of us are licensed professional therapists. Okay, so let's make that clear. But give your time to someone who needs it. Don't have to be like someone young. It could be someone that's old or whatever. But just give your time whenever you can. Okay, like for me, the way how I help out. Okay, because I moved from my original community. From my neighborhood. So a lot of times I don't even go back to the neighborhood where I came from, and even I have like maybe a family that still lives there. It's so rare that I even travel out there, especially back out to Oakland. So how do I give? I give to like, a community that's like, from another city, but whenever I can, I just help serve. That's the way how you could give back and help build like a brotherhood or a sisterhood or build like a fellowship of people that's just like you. And that's what we do.
That could be part of the 100-year plan that Big Rigs talk about. That could be part of the 100-year plan. Like we have to give back. Because you know what? I'll say this, right? For me, my aspiration was to be a Buppy, which is a Black urban professional. I don't want to stay in no hood. I like having nice things. I like doing nice stuff. I like meeting nice ladies. I want to go out. I didn't want to be white and do it, but you know what I'm saying? I want to be Black and doing it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So that's what I wanted. And it's like, if it wasn't for those men that showed me there's another way of being a Black man in the Bay Area, that helped me out. And that's why I do what I do. But that could be part of the plan, that we do sit down and serve and to help people that want to be helped. If you don't want to be helped, there's nothing I can do for you. Like, I'm not abandoning my culture. That's not my culture. My culture is make sure the culture survives. Now, if you want to, dismantle the culture and destroy it, then we're not on the same plan. We're not walking the same.
Mm-hmm. I hear you.
But yeah, so that's one.
Facts. So, wait.
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
I think like the whole thing about identities, and we say Afro-Latinos and everything like that, I think we have to honor that stuff, because I know we want things to be together and mesh up, but there is differences and everybody has a different history. It's not one over the other that's better. It's just that, hey, there's sometimes people just want to be acknowledged of histories, and we have to acknowledge that stuff, because we can always be caught up into this stuff. But what it is, people don't feel acknowledged.
Okay, and I'm glad that you brought that point up, because this was going to be my last question. Okay, just
go for it.
On my end. I mean, you guys can feel free if you guys want to continue the discussion, but my last question for everyone, right, is that how can we promote unity and understanding within the Black community? I have my little
that's something we can do. That's something we can do.
Yeah.
I think it's time for us, all of us here, to take it to the next level. We have this wonderful opportunity called Roku TV, and Tubi, and put our own shows and display different Black cultures on there. We don't need to wait for white people anymore to acknowledge. We don't need contracts from other people. We need to make our own stuff and put it out there.
Okay. You so basically clear a little like TV out.
Roku, you can have your own channel now on Roku TV. There's a new Black network that's out. I follow them on TikTok. I will forward it to you.
Is it Big Indie TV?
No, it's called something African, but it show all the African diaspora. They're looking for programs and looking for stuff. Even how we talk about topics could be like something that, like, we won't have to cam up, but you're gonna. It's still good. It's still good TV, because people do cast what they see on YouTube onto their TV, and I just want everybody to understand on the panel, like, don't think that you're wasting your time. Like, people listen to us instead of watching TV. Like, that's how important YouTube is. Nobody's watching TV, but everybody's on YouTube. The minute we go live, everybody's on YouTube. YouTube blasting away streaming services, blasting away, TV, blasting away radio, blasting away podcasts. Just know there's power here.
Okay.
I need to make a point real quick, and it's not to take away from your point, Stan, but I think I will say this though. I think when we start going into when we start trying to categorize ourselves into different cultures, right? Instead of just saying, hey, we're all just African, right? I feel like what that does is just divide us. It divides us even more. And, I've never seen where people have said, okay, well, I'm this, but I also accept, my people who are from here. I rarely see that. You know what I mean? And there's only a few people I can think of in media, in music, and arts that actually adopt that. There's not a lot of us who do that. Most people say, I'm from this area, and if you ain't from here, then I ain't rocking with you. and then that hurts because it's like, well, dang, I got a cousin that looks just like him, or hell, I look just like him. You know what I mean? Like, my mama look like her. You know what I'm saying? Like, or my grandma, or my cousin, or my auntie, or whoever, my brother. You know what I mean? Looks like that. So, what I've seen is that it's done more harm than it's done good. You know what I mean? And it just makes us, be more separate. And you know that because of the history of a place where you are very, very connected to, Hispaniola. I don't call it the other names. I call it Hispaniola. I call it its original name. You know what I mean? Because that's what it originally is. You know what
it still is. And it still is. When it was covering news, it still come up as an island of Hispaniola.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's what I call it. You know what I mean? And that's where we resonated from. But I want
to help you out with that thought. I want to help you out with that.
We have to understand the evil and the pure evil intent of the colonizer and the oppressor to separate us. One movie that I really love that touches on that a lot, is this whole Black Panther series. It really shows how outside forces are always trying to penetrate what we have because our people, we're so advanced in technology, language, medicine, everything. You know what I'm saying? That now, they always are trying to find a way to come in and break through a Wakanda or Egypt, you know what I'm saying? Or, any other places y'all can name that we are from, that they have tried to come in and desecrate and degrade. And then once they do that, or once they can't do that, they always put that one label on us that we were savages and that we all wore lion cloth. We had no technology. We didn't know any languages. We're buffoons. And we were just basically in the wild in Africa wrestling with lions, tigers, and bears. What's
the response that you give to colonizer? How do you respond to colonizer when they say that? Because for me, when they say that to me, I tell them, and you, sir and madam, was wiping out the world with a black plague because you didn't own a bar of soap.
Oh, shit.
Please understand, my father did not play games. He knew who he was. He made sure who I was. And there was something about like being Black Latino, whatever. He was like, never let nobody Latino try to sit down and derogatory put you down ever in your life. Because he let me know right away. When they came here, Spaniards was here, everybody was 3 apple high. And they killed them with blankets. And they mixed everybody up. A lot of times, we allow people to say stuff to us because we don't know who we are. Once you know who you are, you can stand on your 2 feet and tell people You do not tell me who I am. I tell you. That's number one. Number two, guess what? People are always going to use differences to get coochie points. That's all. A lot of cats, they're going to I'm lying? I'm lying? I'm not lying.
M3, write this down. Clip this, man. 2 hours. 2 hours and 5 minute mark. All right? Clip everything he just said.
Am I lying? Because like, hey, baby, how you doing? Come here and talk to me. I'm from Brooklyn. What was the lie? Where's the lie? Blah, blah, blah. Using his accent, draw people in. Come on, like people use what they got for coochie points. Got the dreadlocks, they want to be different. That's nothing you can fight. People ain't different because they actually care about the culture. Some people are just different because they want coochie.
Whoa, lady.
That's an interesting point. That is an interesting point. Salute to John GQ. Good to see you, brother. Yeah. And Gray Pill. I see you, Gray Pill.
And the same thing for the women. Y'all want some sausage, and y'all going ahead and y'all going to use that to get the ring. It's like, no, baby, I'm from the islands. All I know how to do is cook and clean, and I'm going to take care of you if you take care of me. And you started up in America for 25 years.
Well, very interesting.
Stan needs to take his exotic behind and go to bed.
And you know what? I'm just as guilty. And you know what, E? E, I'm just as guilty because when a cop pulled me over, I'm like, excuse me, officer, I'm only here for a student visa. My godfather is Jesse Jackson. I'm here going to school in San Francisco State so I can go back to my village and help rebuild.
Oh, wow.
You can't do anything like that in Texas, though.
Oh, yes, I can. I'm like, I do have a green card.
I don't think it'll work down there.
I have one. I have one. I carry it with me.
I'm sorry to say that.
But I will say this, like, Mr. Best in the World, it's important for me to say Afro-Haitian American because I remember there was an African-American teacher who came to our class and he told us the main difference is where the boat stopped for all of us when it came to slavery. But also, during that time when the boat stopped, there was particular cultures that took place. And I'll say this for Latin culture, we were hidden. Like, a lot of people in the West Coast didn't know there's Black Mexicans or Black Spanish-speaking people, period, or Colombians. Because when you think about all the drug lord movies before, The Godfather, all of them, they did not look like what you see what Colombians look like now. They were not Black, right? So everybody expected them to be white. And that's why sometimes it's important to say it, because that identity been robbed from the world and hidden. We was always the hidden stepchild or the hidden child, the outside child. And there's a word for people that was born out of Haiti. They call it Timon étranger. And translation to that was a strange child. So for the longest, that's how I was always identified as, the strange child. So when I say it, it's like me reclaiming my culture.
I think the one thing I just want to say this real quick, M3. I just think the one thing we just got to realize, Stan, and everything I'm saying, is that, as you were alluding to and I'm alluding to, that, that language that's not our native tongue, whether it's Spanish, French, Russian, whatever land came over here and colonized us. English, right? English is not my native tongue, right? But whatever language came over here and basically great pillaged and colonized us. We have to remember, who, like you said, we gotta know who we are so they can't try to tell us who we are. You know what I'm saying? And yes, we took what they gave us and tried to basically enslave us with, and we turned it into something good. You know what I mean? And we started and we basically developed our own sense of I would say, culture or being. You know what I mean? But in that, I never want it to be where we are putting one above each other just because I may speak a different dialect than you do. I think that's the one thing that I think has to stop between us as a people.
Yeah,
but look, but when it comes to dating and sex, it ain't never gonna stop. Because you and I both know you got the dark skinned Dominicans versus the dark skinned Puerto Ricans versus the dark skinned Mexicans versus dark skinned Haitians. Haitians will come out with the Spanish. Next, you know, you'll parlez-vous français, and then the girl is just gone. All he said, like, I'm gonna get you a $2 Whopper. I mean, like. When it comes,
ain't no wrong. You're on $2 Whopper.
But they say it in French, right? And when you say it in French, it makes Spanish look ghetto. And when it comes to dating competition, people use their arsenals really good, and it's like, wow, can't hate a player. But I agree with you. There are people that use everything so they can be different, and I think sometimes, a lot of times, people use their differences to get what they want out of life.
Okay. Hold on, real quick. I gotta get to Melody and Lux. Melody and Lux, I know you was trying to say something, right?
No, I think I forgot to mute my phone, so forgive me for that.
Oh no, it's all good.
Yeah, but I'm going to go to bed, so I will holler at you good people later. Good night, everyone. And
all right, good night.
Enjoyed the conversation.
Good night, Melody. Lux.
Good night.
Night, family.
See y'all later. Bye.
Lady E, I know it's you passed like your bedtime, and just like earlier. Oh, damn, she already left. All right, well, guys,
It's a number word,
right? Didn't even let me finish, but it's all good, man. How rude are you? But we're about to end this like for tonight, man. We already passed the 2-hour mark, and most folks, they do have a bedtime, so we want to respect that. But
except for me, I'm waking up. This is my morning. The vampire lives on. I'm going to work.
Well, you stay woke somewhere else, then, right? But I'm gonna go ahead and watch some TV with the wife, and I'll probably give me a little snack or something. But this was a great topic. Thank you everybody for participating, for tuning in, and for providing the best that you guys can. So that's all I'm going to say. But anyways,
whatever.
So thank you.
Don't start me up. Don't start me up.
I'm not trying to start. I'm trying to finish what y'all started. Okay, so that's
got
all.
a lot to say about me in the chat.
Oh, here we go.
But you misquoted people too. So maybe you need a communication class to learn how to listen, because you was misquoting people all up on this panel. But on that note, I digress, because I'm this and I'm that, blah blah blah, whatever. I don't agree with you. Stay away from my people, please. Don't help us. Don't think about us. Don't donate to us. Stay away, because at the end of the day, all these other cultures you talk about, you so knowledgeable about, they move as a united front, and I don't care what nobody say. They help each other, they support each other, and they got each other's backs. We are the only culture that gets a little money and forget who we are. And I help a lot of people, so you're not helping anyone. So keep your whitewashed jargon to yourself. Thank you. And you have a great night.
Hold on. Why it gotta be whitewashed though? We were just talking about how we should not be labeling people to be whitewashed.
No. Just keep your comments to yourself.
Thank you, Riggs. Okay.
Anyway.
Okay, guys. Have a good night. Deep breathing exercises. Deep breathing.
Good night, everyone. Peace.
All right, later, you guys. Go ahead and play. Shit. I'm gonna go ahead and play this outro when I get a chance to get the clips. Thank you, everybody, for tuning to Knowledge and Relationships. Make sure everybody get your minds right, because if you don't get your minds right, then shit like this happens. But anyways, everybody, let's all rule side. Have a good time. And we are out. So peace.
Knowledge and relationships.